this is me at 5 years. And the reason this photo is important is because when the role was developed, I'm old school people, I know I look young, but still. So when this role was developed, my mother said, you look ugly, you need to be on a diet, you are too fat. And that was my life, ever since I was 5 years old. On diets, on exercise programs. It didn't matter what I did, I was not enough. I was told by my parents, by teachers, by bullies at school, that A, you will never get what you want, you will never get the opportunities, you will never get love. And by my senior, in 12th standard, you know t-shirts where you write things on? He said, I should tell you to get a condom, but who will ever fuck you? He should meet me today, don't you think? So anyway, the next photo that you would have seen, which has gone really quickly, is me in school. The thing is, I'm very committed to my happiness, and therefore I decided I would do everything I need to do to feel happy. But the thing is, as fat people, our stuff is hanging out there. So everybody comes to tell you what they think you should do to lose weight. The thing for me was, even though I was excellent at school, a topper, I wanted to get into IIM. I didn't get through the first list. So my parents sat me down and said, babe, you've got through so far, but no, in the real world, your fat won't let you get a job. That really crushed my confidence. I know the photos are going faster than I'm speaking, but you've seen, I went to IIM, but somehow my confidence had broken. I then went on to get a job and went on to get married, but I didn't realize that the fat phobia I'd faced with my parents was going to get far worse with my in-laws. I ended up at 35 being severely depressed and trigger alert suicidal, where one day I decided that, see, I believe in doing things well. Just like I'm committed to happiness, I'm committed to excellence. So I was looking at the ground from my 11th floor balcony, and I thought to myself, if I go down there, is there a guarantee it's going to be the end, or is it going to continue worse than here? I wasn't sure of that, but I said, I have to step back. If I have to step back, I have to live my life on my terms. I can't be this person anymore. That was my first breaking free moment. I went back into my room, got onto the internet, found plus size modeling. You would have seen that photograph where my photos were in the Times of India in the week, because at that time none of the body positivity people were willing to share their photographs. That was step number one. But even though I was a plus size model, I said, hey, what about the health aspect? Because everybody tells you you're a walking, talking heart attack. I then went on a walk across India where I covered 2,500 kilometers with 100 other walkers. We were walking 25 to 30 kilometers a day, and I was walking with them. So I realized that health could not be an issue. Thank you. And that is where I broke free even more, which is when I started the podcast, where we talk about the joys and sorrows of fat women in India. For the 3 years that we ran the podcast, we were the top 10 women-led podcasts in India. Now, as you see, this is an important photograph for me. I refused to wear a lehenga on my wedding because I was like, I will look too fat. And look at me, many kilos heavier, but, rocking the lehenga. This is my podcast host. This is our first recording of our podcast, which is why it's special. We went on to make many newspapers. We were in Vogue, we were on NDTV, we were in several places. We did really well. Now, I've gone faster than my photographs because I tried to catch up. The one thing I want to say about being fat, or anything about being dark, about being skinny, about being too tall, about being too short, society standards, is that all of us have stuff. But when people see our stuff, they think they can come to you and say things to you about that stuff. And that really hurts because there's no place you can escape. There's no way you can convince them otherwise. So this is important because there I was at 18. I hid that photograph for 20 years because I was embarrassed by it. I was fat, I thought, and I was looking happy. And that is not a good fatty, you see? But then, so many years later, I'm willing to show my ass, I'm willing to show my tummy, and it doesn't matter. Here I am judging Exclusive and Extraordinary. This is a pageant for plus size women. And this is where my third moment of breaking free was, because I finally was willing to wear clothes that showed my body and stopped hiding my body. It took a long while to get here, but one thing I have to say, I learned either you have to fake it till you make it, and that's also fine, because we really have one life to live. At least that's the one we know of, so you have to fake it till you make it. Or you feel so good about yourself that it doesn't matter what the world does. So those are my two approaches. Here I have to admit, I am still a little ashamed, I would say, or conscious of my belly. But I've been lucky to have partners who've made me accept it and own it. They have no problem with my allergy to clothes, and therefore I feel more and more confident thanks to them. One thing I would like to say is that society is a bit of a dick, and conditioning affects everyone. So there may be some people, even amongst this audience, who feels this is not a good role model, what about health, etc., etc. That's completely understandable. What fat liberation says is that we all have autonomy over our bodies and our health. It's a choice we make, and no one has the right to judge us or make us less. So here is me, living my life, queen size, I would say. And I think the reason this is important, and I hope I get 10 seconds more, and the reason I'm sharing it with all of you, is that science really hasn't caught up to a whole host of things. We all live in different bodies that science tells us are not okay. We all make choices in life that society tells us are not okay. And for me, what is important and why fat liberation is important and why activism is in this space is important is because we all have somewhere where we don't fit in. And I think the onus is on each one of us to show that kindness to each of the other and say, you know what, it doesn't matter. It's okay, be you, be unique. Thank you.